Hello, everyone. Hello. How's everybody doing on this amazing Friday? I really missed y'all last week. Really missed y'all last week. We had some technical difficulties last week. No internet. It kept going on and off last week, but we have been good this week, and I'm excited about our discussion for tonight. We are going to actually be wrapping up our series. All right, so yes, we're going to be wrapping up our series, um, breaking down the books, accounting for basics for small businesses, untangling business, personal and business money. So that is what we will be doing tonight. And let me use this disclaimer. I am I am an accountant, but I am not your accountant. You have not signed a contract with me, and the information that I am providing to you is for educational purposes only. You are more than welcome to reach out to me to get some consulting or sign a contract, and we can discuss certain things further. But just know I am an accountant, but I am not your accountant. And again, this is for educational purposes only. Now, again, as I mentioned before, the topic today is the temptations of a business account and having those particular temptations. We have covered some very good information in the previous podcast. We discussed during this how to separate. We had practical applications of how to separate your personal money and your business money. We discussed different ways to recognize certain shortfalls that you might have when it comes to your personal and business finances. We also discussed about having the correct structure for your actual business. And in that, having the correct structure, we mentioned actually opening a business bank account. Okay. So now we are on to this discussion about the temptation of having a business bank account. Now, let me say this, a lot of times it's not our temptations, and I say temptations, um, but it's mostly unresolved past financial traumas or past financial issues that we have that are actually controlling the way that we handle our business finances. Okay. So, again, it is generally unresolved financial traumas or issues concerning our finances that are controlling the way that we operate our business funds. And because those things have not been dealt with, they can lead to temptations because you're falling into the same pattern of behavior that you have always had. Okay. So, and I wanted to make sure that I wrote things down so I can, make sure that I cover the information kind of in detail today. So now that you have your business account, and this can go for people who already have a business account or people who just open a business account. All right. But you also have to take into consideration there are people who actually live off of their business income, and there are those who do not live off of their business income. If you live off of your business income, you have to make sure that you pay yourself properly. And we'll get to a discussion on that in a minute. But let's go to the first temptation. So, using your business bank account for personal things. So now you have established your business bank account, but you want to use it for personal things. You'll see money there in your account, and you're like, well, let me just go ahead and get some groceries, or you might see something that you like and you left your regular debit card at home, but you have your business debit card. So you're like, oh, it's not a problem, I'll just go ahead and I'll take care of that. But that can cause a problem. Why? Because you are making personal transactions on your business account. And when you make transactions like that, most of the time you are going to forget that you made that transaction. You might even have the mindset of, hey, I am going to put this money back. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to put it back because it was an impulsive purchase that you made. So you'll get busy with life, and then you will forget to actually put that money back into your business account. So, and it makes it hard for your books, for your business to be done properly, because you are purchasing personal items on your business account. So, one of the second temptations is you actually treating your business account as if it's just extra spending money. It's just money that you can splurge on. Now, unless that's how you have it set up and your main income is something else, your main income is something else, and you use your business account is just your regular free money, then that's something completely different. But if you are a business owner that has to pay independent contractors, and you got to pay your mortgage, your lights, your gas, your water, all of that stuff, is dependent upon what you make and what you have in your business checking account. Now, remember, if that is the way things are set up for you, you rely heavily on your business, that is your income, then you have to have more structure so that your business account is not your spending money. It doesn't matter how much you have in there. It is not your spending money. Okay? So again, that's why it's important for you to pay yourself from your business account. Okay? So, and let me say this, I would suggest that you get with an accountant. You can talk to me, or you can talk to someone else about the structuring of your organization. If someone was my client and they were living off of their business account, when I say business, their business income, let me rephrase that. If they're living off of their business income, making sure that they pay themselves is a necessity. It's a necessity. And if they don't really want to be concerned with, if they really don't want to be concerned with having to pay, personal taxes and different things of that nature throughout the year, like a business owner, then they can choose to be set up as an S corp, an LLC as an S corp, and then that way they will get a W-2, and then they will pay taxes via the W-2. Federal, state, all of that'll come out, so they'll be on their regular payroll and have a W-2. Okay, so but again, it is just different between. It just depends on how your business is set up. So if your business, you're just doing a side business to have extra spending money, then that's what you have it set up is. But if you're someone, but if you are someone who is relying on that money in that business account to live, then you have to handle those funds a little bit differently. And because of that, you cannot see the money that's in there as spending money. You cannot see it as money for you to splurge with. So once you pay yourself, then that's it. You got the money that you need. You budget yourself from that, from what you earn for yourself and what you're paid through your business. And then the rest of that belongs to the business, because why? The business has its own payroll, it has other obligations, it has its own bills and different things of that nature. Okay. Those expenses for your business. So you be careful when it comes to that. Another temptation, and I keep saying this over and over again, because it all ties in together. Not again, not paying yourself properly, instead of setting, your particular salary that you want or what you're making an hour, you're the person who will determine that, because remember, we discussed previously in previous podcasts, how much money will it take for you to be okay financially in your business monthly? How much will it take for you to be able to pay your mortgage, to pay the lights, the gas, the water, your insurance and different things when it relates to your household? And even when it comes to vacation and your retirement, how much is required, okay, for you to do that? All right. So remember that. So when you don't pay yourself properly in your business, it can really create a chaotic situation, because you're trying to move money back and forth, from your business account to your personal account, business account, personal account. And again, it makes it a chaotic situation, especially when it comes to, you trying to handle your bookkeeping, or someone trying to handle the accounting aspects of your business. And then, unfortunately, there have been situations to where I've seen, business owners haven't been able to pay their employees, not because they did not have the money, but because they mishandled those business funds. The business owner mishandled those business funds. So I don't want that to happen to you. As a business owner, I want you to make sure that you're able to pay your people, which is very, very, very important. Okay, so when also I had mentioned before, when you have the going back and forth between your personal account and your business account, you're using your business account as your personal account. And when you're going back and forth between those two, it is an accounting and bookkeeping nightmare. It is. It is an accounting and bookkeeping nightmare, and it causes problems for you as the business owner. So I can tell you one reason why. So if you were to come to me and I'm asking you about particular transactions, and then you're giving me receipts, but those receipts do not line up with what's on your bank statements, and you're like, well, I used my business, I used a debit card to purchase those transactions for my business, but I'm like, they're not on your bank statement, your business bank statement. So that means that I have to get the information from your business account too. I mean, your personal account too, to try and match up those transactions. Okay. So, and that creates more problems and a lot more work. And unfortunately, because of that, you're going to be charged more, because your expenses are not in order. They're disorganized. And so that means that the accountant has to do a lot more research when it comes to making sure everything is reconciled properly. Okay. All right. So another thing, when your bookkeeping and your accounting is a nightmare, but then you're trying to convince yourself that you're going to remember to record the transactions properly, you're going to remember to notate it, and you're not going to remember to notate it. You're just not going to remember that, because, and I'm not saying that you can't, but it is very rare that you're able to remember that. Why? Because we get so busy. And then on top of that, you are so busy and you're trying to remember, ooh, did I take the money out of my personal account or did I take it out of my business account? So you're trying to remember what you're doing. And by the time you sit down, you have a stack of receipts that you may have kept, but those stacks of receipts have different debit card numbers on them. So they're not from your business account. You might have a few from the business, but then you have some from your personal account. And so that causes a lot of problems. Okay. All right. And so, and then the next thing, it can cause problems when it comes to your actual taxes. So if you are using your business account as if it is your free spending money, but that's how you live, is actually paying yourself from your business account to your personal account, and you are actually spending the money in your business account like it's your personal, you're going to have problems when it comes to your taxes. You're going to have problems when it comes to your taxes because you don't really know at that point what it is you have actually made. It's harder for you to track it. It's harder for you to track it. And then not only that, because you have spent so much of the money in your business account thinking that you had all these extra funds to spend when you completely forgot that you have to pay taxes. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You never want to put yourself in a space where you're going backwards. I don't want you to be in a space to where you feel like you're going backwards as an entrepreneur. Because it requires it does require some discipline if you're going to handle those things yourself. But as I tell people, that's why we are all created to do different things. I'm good at, I'm a community advocate. I'm good with accounting. I'm good with auditing. I'm good with policies and procedures, risk management. I am good with those things. Okay. But I'm not a social services person. I'm not a social services person. Okay. So, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not an engineer or an architect. Those aren't the things that I specialize in. I do not specialize in those areas. But what I do specialize in is accounting, anything in the finance arena, most things in the finance arena, educating people. And those are the things that I specialize in. And because I specialize in those things, I'm able to use my gifts, my talents, and my treasures to help other people, those who may not be as skilled in those areas. And to be honest, outsourcing your accounting and bookkeeping for your business is one of the greatest things that you can ever do. And your payroll, you don't have to worry about it not being done correctly when you get the right person to do it for you. Okay? Getting the right person to do it for you is so, so very important. It is. I make sure that, even though I'm doing it, I want to try and make sure that I kind of guide and educate my clients, on what it is I'm doing so they can know what they're looking at. And then again, some clients, they don't want to. Hey, I'm going to let you go ahead and take care of all of that, which is not a problem. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. So, with all of that being said, be mindful of your temptations. And you're the only person who knows what your actual temptations are when it comes to dealing with your business funds. And remember, as I mentioned before, a lot of times the business issues that we have with our finances is unresolved financial traumas or issues that we have dealt with on our personal side, things that we have not dealt with personally concerning our finances. Okay, so I want to do a quick recap. The first temptation is using it for personal stuff, using your business account as your personal account, thinking that the money that's sitting there, oh, it's okay, just go ahead and let me grab it. It is not okay to do that. Okay. Number two, the second temptation is treating the business account like it's extra spending money when it is not extra spending money if that is your livelihood. If you have employees that rely upon you having money in that account so you can pay them, then that is not your spending money. Okay? All right. So another temptation, number three, is not paying yourself properly. All right. So make sure that you pay yourself properly. We want to make sure that we do that. That is a temptation to not pay yourself properly. And you may have to get an accountant to help you with that. And that's okay. That's okay. Again, as I stated before, the things that I am good at, I have my cousin, her name is Tamika Slater. She is a real estate agent and she is good at what she does. I am not a real estate agent. That is not my area of expertise. That's her area of expertise. I know general information about it, but if I have like any questions, about real estate, I'm contacting her. Okay. So now let me say this, since I said that, when it comes to you dealing with an accountant, if you call an accountant and you're asking them information, that is consulting. And you're going to have to pay them for talking to them and asking them certain questions because they are consulting you. Okay. And consultations like that are not free. Just general information, they might give you general information. But when it comes to the nuts and bolts on how to do certain things, that's going to come at a price. And it really depends on that particular accountant and how much they charge for those services. Okay, and the fourth temptation that you might have, you will be tempted to slack off of your bookkeeping. You'll think about, oh, I don't need to record that transaction. I'll track that transaction a little bit later. And 9 times out of 10, you will not do it. And then that means that your finances or your business finances will be completely out of whack. All right. And then number 5 is a temptation to avoid taxes, avoiding taxes. That's a temptation you can have with having a business account if you are not properly managing the funds in that particular account. And what I can suggest with that is if you struggle in that area, you probably need to get a separate account. And I say a separate account for your taxes. Just make sure that you put money aside in that account specifically for taxes only. Nothing else. Okay. All right. So my final statement on this is your business account is not extra money for you to spend. It's not some fund that you can just do whatever you want to with it. It is the lifeline of your business. That's what it is. It's the lifeline of your business and probably the lifeline of your livelihood if that's the only thing that you're using, or the only income that you have is what you are actually working for and getting paid for. You are the business owner. You are the entrepreneur. You're the one that's doing the work, and the income that's made comes to you, for your business. And I know if this is an area in which you struggle in, it's okay. Don't feel bad about it. Do not condemn yourself about it, because there's always an opportunity to get better. I believe that we learn something new every day. And trust me, I learn things every day. Oh, that's a good question. Someone asked, if you have extra money in your business account, can you give yourself a bonus? I would say you need to, it needs to be a planned bonus. It does not need to be, you're like, oh, I got additional $500 in my account, I'm gonna give myself a bonus. No. What you can do is plan to give yourself a bonus at the end of the year, like in December, a Christmas bonus. But you are planning to have that Christmas bonus. You start at the beginning of the year in the budget for your business. And at the end of the year, in January, let's say January 2026, you say, hey, I want to give myself a bonus in December for Christmas. In January, you determine what that amount is going to be. Okay? So whatever that amount is going to be, you're going to set that as part of your budget for the year. And part of your budget is going to be for you to have a bonus for yourself at the end of the year. But you do not need to do a sporadic bonus. Just next month, oh, I'm going to give myself a bonus. No, it needs to be a planned bonus, something you have already have written out that you're going to do for yourself. But yeah, as long as everything else is taken care of, nothing else is missing or lacking, you can schedule to do a bonus for yourself. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. So again, I am Marjorie E. Roberts. Okay, so yes, I did answer her question. All right. So again, I am Marjorie E. Roberts. I am the owner of Roberts, Mangum and Bennett Consulting, which is an accounting firm here in the Metro Jackson area. And I am also the founder of the nonprofit, The Money Variable. We do have a podcast that comes on every Friday at 5:30. Next month, we are going to be discussing building wealth with life insurance. And so next month in October, we will have a series on building wealth with life insurance. And we will have several life insurance agents on our show. Next month, we will have Michelle Johnson, the owner of Eternity Insurance. We will have her as a guest. We will have Dr. Loretta Wall, and she will be a guest as well on our podcast. So they will be our two guests for next month. And we will also have an actual investment officer as well for next month. So that's what we're going to be talking about next month, building wealth through life insurance. And Dr. Loretta Wall's business is Lead with Love. That's the name of her business. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna have next next Friday. So we'll see you guys in October. And again, if you need an accountant, please reach out to me, 769-247-4400, or you can call 901-500-3272, or you can go to my website, www.robertsmangumbennett.com. And that is all, you guys. And I wish you guys a great and awesome weekend. Bye-bye.